So, good evening, good evening, good evening. We are back again. Apologies for the lateness. Lateness is greatness. YouTube is moving crazy. StreamYard is moving crazy. So, do make sure you are liking the stream as you enter. That would help because for some reason the algorithms are dead. Same for a lot of channels, including the one I was on earlier with Said. So, big up to everybody who has found the stream because I don't think it sent notifications and it ain't showing we're live on a lot of platforms. So, sorry, a lot of people's phones, including mine. But anyway, international break is over. England won 2 out of 2. I didn't watch it. I'm sure Kenny did. I'm not sure about JEZ'S so much, but we've got a lot of news to talk about. Odegaard, new contract offer on the table, 6 years. Bukayo Saka, is he the best right winger or winger on the planet right now? And any other stuff. We've got Leeds United coming up as well. Very quickly, before we get into this, make sure you sub to JEZ'S channel, Arsenal History and More, and Ken's Insta. Links in description, along with Lee Reacts on 51 subs from 9K, so go and get that done as well. But JEZ'S, different surroundings today, mate.
Yeah.
Looks very summery. It seems sunny in the background. I can
It's
see
lovely.
it. How are you, mate?
I'm very well, very well. Yeah, we're on a place called Brownsea Island. It's an old castle. It was built by Henry VIII. It's obviously been subsequently built and developed, and it's lovely. And just over there is Paul, and over there is where all the millionaires live, in Sandbanks. So thought we might see Harry Redknapp, but we haven't seen him. Yeah, great stream last night. Podcast, quiz nights, and sad news. Kenny's lost his crown.
Oh, wow. I'll have to check that out later then.
Yeah. Who knew? No, it's good. It's good. A lot of people in the chat jumped in with their answers. I think there was a little bit of cheating going on by one or two, but there you go. No, it's good fun. It's good fun. And I'm Greg. That's not a Spurs shirt, mate. It's not a Spurs. Yes, I'm having a great time, mate. Here for a few days, and yeah.
No, well, fair play, mate. You deserve it as well, mate. Kenny, how are you, mate?
I'm good. You know, I can confirm that I lost a quiz, and I can confirm that I watched the England game. And for a split second, I thought about you two when I was saying, you know what, I get what they say about international football. That game was hard work. It was really, really hard work, and I can't emphasise how much lack of action was happening during that game. I was thinking, you know, I was actually concentrating more on cooking than I actually watching that. It was uneventful. And then you've got a situation where I have to, you know, like I said, make a point about some of the people in football today. A week ago, they were slagging off a departing manager, and then all of a sudden, after he's gone and got his payoff, they said he was right all along to make that outburst. It's funny that, you know. It's funny they got their story. Now all of a sudden they're thinking, ooh, he was right after all, but he's not allowed to say it. So it just shows you in life, especially in football in this country, as much as people say, yeah, we like people to say as it is, the minute a manager does that, he's gone.
Yeah, well said, mate. And in fact, let's stay on the topic of managers and managers that have been sacked in the last couple of days before we talk Arsenal, actually. Obviously, Julian Nagelsmann got sacked from Bayern Munich, JEZ'S. And a lot of people are a little bit baffled, scratching their head that he's won 8 out of 8 in the Champions League. He's in the quarterfinals. He's second in the league, 1 point behind Borussia Dortmund. He's in the quarterfinals of the Cup in their league as well. And a lot of people are like, why has he been sacked? And then obviously we see the news breaking late last night that Antonio Conte is sacked, with them in exactly the same position as they finished the season last season, pipping us to the top 4. And again, like Kenny said, a lot of people are saying, oh, he was right in what he was saying. But again, you speak the truth, he's sacked. What have you made of the difference in the two clubs? And the reason I say the difference in the two clubs is because Daniel Levy put a statement out on the website saying we can still qualify for the top 4 for Champions League. And you've got Oliver Kahn coming out of Bayern Munich saying, well, listen, we're kind of worried that we're not going to hit our achievements and our goals for the season, i.e. go and win everything. Well, what did you make of both of them and the difference between them two clubs as well?
Well, I'm very surprised at Bayern Munich, I have to say. I wasn't seeing that one. I mean, he's a class manager, that guy, Nagelsmann. I'm not at all surprised about Conte. I think after the rant he had, it was just good night Vienna for him. End of story. Because the club aren't going to accept that. And I think the problem there also is when you start calling out your own players, then that's it. Your job's done because the player's going to say, well, sod you, mate. It's two fingers up to you. Bayern Munich, well, they're a big club. Let's get it right in Germany. So the fact is, they're acting as a big club. Fact. They're saying, sorry, mate, you're not giving us what we need. We've got objectives. The objectives are obviously win the league and Champions League. So out the door you go. And, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and profess that I know a lot about German football. I don't watch it. So, I'll be an absolute liar. But Tottenham, they're acting, I suppose you could say they're acting like a big club. Who's going to go there? No idea. The fact of the matter remains, Kenny, is that Conte is an absolute world-class manager, just didn't get what he wanted. And we've seen him do it before, haven't we? We've seen him do it. Right, okay, you're not giving me what I want. Sod off. I'm going. Bye. And I think he really lost it in that rant, and that was him. He's done. See you later, mate. Bye-bye.
I disagree about Nagelsmann. I think he's shocking. But again, I don't watch Bundesliga. All I'm going off of is when I've seen him in Champions League losing to Villarreal. and I don't really watch them in the Champions League unless it's a big game. And again, I don't watch Bundesliga itself. After lockdown, it was the first football league back, and it was shocking. But Kenny, what about you, mate? Obviously, you keep tabs on a lot of not just football news, but sport news. I love your Instagram; it's great. So make sure you check Kenny's Instagram out. And what did you make of both the sackings, mate?
Well, the thing about the Nagelsmann thing, when I heard, I thought it was a misprint. But when you look back on it, I think what's happened is that I was oblivious to what was right in front of me, because I did comment on it before. There was issues with Nagelsmann, and part of because I just read today that like about 70% of the players weren't even gone. Players like players like Mane wanting him out. Cancelo's only been there for 5 minutes. He wanted him to go. There was talk of Neuer was a big wanting to go. Remember, he sacked the goalkeeping coach who was there for 12 years because he was accusing him of leaking information to the opposition, to the papers, and giving away trade secrets. So he made sure he got rid of. But even after that, there was still talk about situations involving leaked information, about what was going on in the club, like team sheets, tactical things. And it transpired that his girlfriend is a journalist who writes for the Bild in Germany, and she actually covered Bayern Munich games until she started going out with him, which is about a year and a bit ago. So again, there's that problem in the squad. If they're saying if what's going on in the pillar talk, so there was loads of things, going again. Gnabry is another one who was against him. It was
Thomas Muller as well.
Yeah, and let's not forget there was issues with issues previously the season before. Let's not forget one of the best strikers in Europe went Barcelona. He fell out with Nagelsmann over something tactical, and the guys from England. I've got experience. Who are you? And I think he struggled at his age and his lack of experience to deal with a star-studded dressing room, and ultimately results killed him, because at the end of the day, as you say, Bayern Munich, have to be that far ahead of teams in Germany. And, there has to be a likelihood, that they're going to do that. All right, his Champions record was perfect, but he's got Man City now. That another thing was a worry. But overall, a lot of things behind the scenes went against him. In terms of Tottenham, the fact is with Conte, he should take a percentage of the blame, because let's face it, his style of football is workable if you've got the right players. He didn't even try to get the right players. Look what he did at Chelsea. His first season, enthusiasm he had there when he was hugging the crowd. He got Victor Moses in playing well. He had Diogo Costa. He had players like Hazard, and he basically had a winning team and a winning mentality, and then afterwards it kind of fell away. But you never got that at Tottenham. You never got that he was into that job. And even so, he had Jay Spence, spent most of the time criticising him. And then you had Richarlison. When he was talking about selfish players, he had to be talking about him. He had to be talking about him because Richarlison was whinging about, how it's going for him this season with injuries and not being able to score goals. So he's probably one of the selfish players that he's talking about. But the main thing is, as you said before, other coaches have gone to Tottenham with great reputations. It hasn't worked out. So the common denominator is that the club is more interested in getting the top four and top four only, and it's more interested in the business side of things. NFL, rock concerts, rugby league finals, boxing with a Matchroom, than doing what they're on a pitch. Because the fact is that they haven't won anything for 15 years. If they carry on like they're going, they don't win anything for another 15 years. I actually said to a Spurs fan, "You're going to be like Everton." Because remember, Spurs is part of the. Well, it's not. It's serious because you think about it. If you think about the mid 80s up to when Everton, Liverpool was strong, and Man United were a cup side, Arsenal were a big team, and Spurs were a big team. The original big top five were Everton, Man United, Liverpool, and Tottenham, and Arsenal was there. Now you look at it now. Everton haven't won anything for 25 years. Well, Spurs have won anything for 15. So. If they don't sort themselves out, they'll be a big club, only in reputation. And even then, you look at what they've won. They only won 2 league titles. They've got an okay European record, won more than us, and they've been known for the cups. But they don't win cups no more. Remember the FA Cup? They used to dominate the FA Cup, and they used to have a good record in the League Cup. They don't win that. So it's all right filling your stadium with 62,000 fans. But if you don't have the right mentality, in terms of like having world-class facilities, which they have, but having a world-class mentality to winning trophies, then you're not going to do well. And, the sooner as Levy and Lewis sell, the better. But whoever buys the Spurs has to have the right mentality, the sort of mentality where they have to win now. None of this, blame the manager and basically hide behind the manager, because if Mourinho can't do it there and Conte can't do it here, there's no good getting a big name again, because he's going to have the same situations, i.e. Daniel Levy.
Yeah, mate, I'd make you 100% right. The problem with Tottenham, though, is they ain't going to sell. Like, I don't know how much they brought the football club for, but it's nowhere near what it's worth now. They're going to make an absolute killing if they sell it. Similar to the Glazers. Like, the Glazers are looking at 6 billion. They bought it for 700 grand. Sorry, 700 million, which they got as a loan and offsetted anyway. So they probably haven't even cleared the loan. Yeah, it's probably just regular payments every month, every year, etc. But the problem Tottenham have is Daniel Levy. Yeah, Joe Lewis couldn't care less. Like he probably ain't got a clue when Tottenham are playing, like what's going on there. The whole thing's just left to Levy, who owns 20% of ENIC. Oh, sorry, I think he owns 20% of ENIC, who owns Tottenham. So he's basically got 20% of Tottenham. And it's kind of mad, because Henry was telling me that if they do sell, then ENIC still own the football stadium, which I don't know if that's true, but Henry knows Tottenham better than I do. How can anybody want to go and buy that football club when they won't own the football stadium? Because then ENIC can still have their NFL there. They can still have all of these other events there, but you're just doing that is never going to work. So they're kind of stuck with them forever. Because I don't see anyone coming in.
Stamford Bridge is not owned by Chelsea Football Club. It's owned by their fans.
Yeah,
Chelsea fans own Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, the pitch owners.
Yeah, and so whatever happens, whatever happens, you could sell Chelsea and you turn it in, but that pitch is owned by the player, and they won't allow anything other than football there. But again,
they can smash the stand down and move stadium, but that pitch stays. That pitch ain't moving anytime soon. But with Tottenham, the stadium is actually owned by ENIC, which is it's just mad. Yeah, but as a businessman, fair play to Daniel Levy. The guy's insane. Like, the guy's making an absolute fortune, and he's done all of these deals with NFL, with boxing, with artists, etc., etc. But on the footballing side of it, they don't do anything. They're doing exactly what they've done pretty much my whole adult life. Yeah, just go round and round in circles and think they're good. They'll all get gassed up about Nagelsmann or Poch coming back or somebody else, De Zerbi, whoever else is linked. And they ain't going to win anything again. Well, this time round, they'll be more open to it because it'll be a younger manager. It'll be a project. It'll be a process. They'll get spun a yarn like every other club that's going down this process project route. When the fact and reality is they've spent more than Arsenal in the Premier League era. And they've won.
Lee, you know what it's Lee, I think it's been going on at Tottenham for the last 32 years. Because you think about it, if you think about their trophy haul from 1991, they won the FA Cup in 91. Then 8 years later, they won the League Cup in 99, and then another 9 years they've won the League Cup again. That's 3 trophies in 32 years. That's not good enough. That's not good enough.
41 in the summer. They've won 4 in 41 years.
Yeah. And that's
one every decade.
Before they won the FA Cup in 1991, they didn't win. That was 7 years before they won another trophy because they won the UEFA Cup. So really, if you think about it, the only successful period that Spurs have had in terms of trophy was probably the 60s, probably a bit in the 70s, when they from 71 to about 73, and then 98, the 2 FA Cups in 81, 82, and 84. Apart from that, you look at that success, you're probably talking 50 years without sustained success. Yet they played the fair football with the players, but in terms of sustained success, it's not been there. So really and truly, the clubs, whoever's had it, whether it was Irving Scholar and Alan Sugar, who gave it away and gave it to Levy. That mentality has been there for a long time. Bill Nicholson must be turning his grave. He has to be.
The thing with Sugar, they never really had the money to compete. Yeah, that was just more of a little. That was just more of a little trophy for them, wasn't it? Oh, we own Tottenham, like in my opinion. Yeah, but with Levy, it's completely different because they've got the money to compete. Like that club makes more revenue in a year than we do, and they don't win anything. That is insane. When I see the stats the other day, Forbes top list, they are above Arsenal on income. They're that close to Bayern Munich on income every year. And the difference between us and them is night and day. But the difference between them and Bayern Munich, I know they're in a different league, Bayern, and it's a lot easier for them to win a league over in Germany than it is in England. I get that. But Bayern Munich still spend a lot of money. They still pay a lot of wages to top players. Like their wage bill is massive. They're still going to go and do 70 million on Cancelo in the summer. They pay top dollar to top players. They've got the hierarchy all in the right spots, and they're all legends of that football club, and they're all on the same page.
They have to win. They have to win. They have to win every year. If you don't win either the Bundesliga or the Champions League, you failed at Bayern. Second is nowhere at Bayern.
Even if you win the Bundesliga, it don't mean nothing because you're supposed to. He won it last year, right? And then in these other leagues, they have put it down as the Super Cup. It's basically their Community Shield. Yeah, he's won 2 Community Shields in the Bundesliga. That's unacceptable in nearly. Well, I know he's not going to finish this season. That's still unacceptable. That's because you're supposed to win the league out there. Like you're the best club out there. You spend more than every other club in that league put together. You're supposed to piss the league. They've lost 5 out of 10 5 out of their 10 games since January, which is why he's been sacked. Yeah, 5 losses out of 10 games is unacceptable. See you later. Yeah, and these football clubs are the ones that set the standards. And the reason they set the standards is because they will do anything to win. Yeah, and they've looked at it and thought, no real candidate to win the Champions League. Everyone's a bit of a muchness. Yeah, if we go and get Tuchel in right now, we might actually end up with that. Yeah, he's got the sign over Pep anyway. Yeah, and he'll give the players a lift. We can get the lead. They might even end up with a treble yet. And that would be justified in sacking Nagelsmann anyway. He shouldn't have got the job in the first place, in my opinion. It was just a fashionable thing at the time, and they were a bit stupid to employ him. But they've realised inside 18 months.
So remember, let's not forget he was seen as doing a good job at Leipzig. Remember, they got to the semis, isn't it? The semi-final where they of 2020, the lockdown one, where they lost to was it PSG semi-final. So he was always under a reputation. Let's not forget when Wenger was when we were thinking of asking Arsene to vacate with great difficulty. Look, his name kept on coming up, you know, and the issue we had with his age. But I think what's happened is that, you know, it seems like the new thing now is to get young coaches in. So
yeah,
if that's
it's like the hipster trend right now. De
he'll
Zerbi, Thomas
always
Frank,
get work.
Potter, and Nagelsmann, and it's let's go down this young manager route, which is all well and good. And listen, it might end up with us resulting in a Premier League title, which would be insane, fantastic. But at the same time, it is a very easy way to lower standards of a football club. And if you go for, and like I went through Bayern Munich's Twitter page when they announced that they'd sacked him, and all of the comments, 90% of the comments were fans of other football clubs saying it's a disgrace. Most of the German Bundesliga fans and the Bayern Munich fans were saying, yeah, get rid of this. Football ain't sustainable. It's crap. It's took us backwards. Yeah, and it's the same when Real Madrid lose. Like when Real Madrid lose, go through the comments. 99.9% are saying, get rid of Ancelotti. The football's a joke. We're losing to Barcelona. We're second in the league. We're not playing great. And it's like, when you look at these English football clubs have cottoned on, number one, so you don't have to win anything, but you can still make a fortune. Like Tottenham, they're the masters of making a fortune with winning nothing. Because the amount of income that club has made in the last 30 years and ain't won nothing is insane, more than any other club. Because we've still won, Man U have still won, City have won, Chelsea have won, Liverpool have won. They don't win anything, and they've probably made more money. Well, they've made more money than us in the last 3 years anyway. But if you actually look at per trophy, how much income they've earned, it's ridiculous. Yeah, and it's only in England you have this, and they've cottoned on very quickly to the fact that if we go and compete for a League Cup and we win it, it's only £100,000 prize money. Yeah. Whereas if we get top four, I said this on the video I did earlier, if they end up doing a cup double, let's say Tottenham did a cup double, or any team in England does a cup double, the prize money to win them 2 cups is about 7 mil. So I can see why they will bin it off, because top four is worth more than 7 mil. Yeah, and that is not a Tottenham problem. That is a fucking Premier League and FA problem. Yeah, that and Southampton at bottom, if they get relegated, they'll end up with about 100-odd million quid for getting relegated, finishing bottom. But if you win a cup double, you end up with about 7 mil. That is shambolic. Absolutely shambolic. But anyway, enough of that lot. We've done nearly half an hour on them. Long may it continue. Let them go. Maybe you'll bump into Harry Redknapp where you are, Jez, and maybe he can bring Cranchar back and Peter Crouch and Defoe and all of that. Do you know what I mean? But let's move on to Arsenal. Big up to everyone inside. Make sure you're smashing the like button. Make sure you are subbed to JEZ'S channel, Arsenal History and More, in the description, along with Kenny Ken 1972 on Insta. Pinned comment is my video on the second channel. Big up to everyone who's subbed to that. Very, very close to 9K. I'm literally 51 away, and the views are flying. But anyway, where should we start? Odegaard contract. JEZ'S, apparently 2 different reports. I see one last week saying a 7-year deal, which would take him to 2030. But then today I've seen 6-year deal. What do you make of that? Because he is under contract until 2025. So he's still got 2 years currently, and then they're just add on but rejig the terms. What do you make of that?
I'm not happy about these massive long contracts, Lee. I'm really not. It's I don't know. I think players can be. Look, we've all seen it. You can have a player that's 2 or 3 great seasons and then just absolutely capitulates, and then you're stuck with him. Then all the drama occurs. Dare I say, Ozil. And it all goes horribly bloody wrong, and you're stuck with a player nobody else wants, and you pay his wages, or we sell that person dirt cheap, or you have to turn. No, I don't like it. I'd be quite happy the way he's performing at the moment. We said, right, we'll give you another 3 years. I don't see the necessity to give another player 6 years, because if I'm reading it right. If he's contracted to 2025, if I say this correctly, does that mean he's going to be here till 2031?
No. He'll be until 29. So the 2 years he's still got, they'll add another 4 years on, but they'll refinance it. So over the next 6 years, he'll get the extra 4 years is going to be on new terms, but they will add that onto the 2 years. So they'll rejig the whole thing. So it'll be 6 years from now on the new contract payment scheme.
Long time, though, isn't it? It's a long time.
It is a long time.
And a lot of things can go wrong in that time. So no, if they said we'll offer you another 3 years, I'd say yeah, all day long, happy with that. But for me, 6 years, no.
Yeah, just extend it another one, make it 3 years, and then rejig it and have a view to rejig it again. Now, I'm not too like the one thing I'll say. No, actually, go on, Kenny. You go first. Go on.
Well, I think in terms of like the increase, you know, like I said, 6 years. A lot of that is to do with business, just as much as it is performance, because you know, it seems like that's the norm now. You know, a lot of players now they are giving them longer term deals, and the reason why, and the reason why they're asking for longer term deals is because they think, right, we don't want a situation where if you give them 3 or 4 years, they're going to get to the last year of their contract and then you've got to renegotiate. And that's when clubs get nervous, very nervy, especially when the players is in their prime years. So, you've got a situation, even with our younger players. Saka's in the last year of his contract. Oh, no, we've got to sort it out. We want him to get in his last year. And then he becomes available. Other clubs start sniffing, Mason man. And I think that's a new norm. You're going to see a lot of that nowadays. With a lot of these new contracts, not just at Arsenal, but around the Premier League, players are going to be asked and probably may accept longer deals. That way, it gives clubs enough time. So after maybe the 2 years, they don't have to renegotiate again. It's just to protect. It's covering people's asses, really. A lot of it, especially on players, they think that they're prize assets, but they're not necessarily getting these long-term deals because they're prize assets. It's more long-term deals to protect the club.
Mate, I see both sides. Like a lot of people in the chat are saying 4 years and like he's worth it. He's a good asset. He's going to get better, etc., etc. The thing is, he has got 2 years left on his contract come this summer. Me personally, I ain't too disappointed if we sign him up to a long-term deal, because if it's a 7-year deal, it'll be 7 years from this summer, so that'll be 2030. If it's 6 years, it's 2029. So let's say he plays all right for the next, or great again for the next 2 years. We've still got him. Let's say it's until 29. It'd still be under 4-year contract in 2029. And if we decide that actually we want to go a different route, we could get good money for him. But at the same time, we have been in this situation before with players like Mesut Ozil, Aubameyang to a lesser degree, but big wages. And he has been brilliant this season. Let's just put that in there. He has been absolutely fantastic this season. But at the same time, when you've got 2 years left, yes, you have to renegotiate. Of course, I totally get that. And that's what big clubs should be doing. Because if you don't do it now, he will be going into the last year. And then he's got options then. Let's not forget, we only bought him for 30 mil. So me personally, I think he's worth more than that right now. Especially when you have a look at some of the other players doing the rounds for stupid money. So we're going to make a profit if we was to sell him, even with 2 years left. But he is He's 24, 25? Is he 24? 24. In 6 years' time, he'd be 30. So I don't know. I don't know. Listen, at the moment, he's playing great. But Mesut Ozil played great for the first couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I don't want to get in that situation again where we end up with a player that's just down and down and down, falls out of love with football. I'm not saying Odegaard is that person, but me personally, just do another 2 years. Extend it for another 2, so it's until 2027. And then you see where you're at again in 2 years' time. But you're right, Kenny. I think we're going to see a lot more of these 6-7-year deals. And I don't know how that works, because I know Chelsea, when they signed all their players in January, put them on 8-year deals to cover FFP. I'm not sure how it works. When we've already signed Martin Odegaard, obviously we'll be paying for him over the length of his current contract. So we haven't paid Madrid the 30 mil yet. He's still got 2 years left of payments on that. So when you renew that deal, that doesn't renew Real Madrid's deal. We still got to pay up within 2 years until the end of the original contract. So does that mean we can put him on 7-8-year deal or a 6-year deal? I'd imagine we could without breaking any FFP rules, because we would have already paid Madrid in 2 years from now, which was the original terms. So I don't know, man. Like, I'm not. If we sign him until 2029, 2030, whatever, I ain't too disappointed with that. Yeah, because I can't imagine he's going to be on more than 150 a week. I don't know. Is he worth more than that? I don't know. It ain't my money. But at the same time, I ain't too disappointed if we do sign him up to a big deal. But me personally, I'll just give him an extra 2 years on the current 2 years left he's got. But I don't know. It is what it is, isn't it? The one thing I will say here is we're actually actively looking to sign up all our players that are doing well, which is something that has definitely changed at this football club. Because years gone by, Fabregas, Nasri, like all these other players, Adebayor, Van Persie's, like all these players have like just left the football club, and we've got peanuts for most of them. Like it's crazy, really. It is crazy.
You know what it is, though? Do you know what it is? I think what's happening is that you think about, remember the Bosman, innit? You think about the Bosman situation where previous to that, you know, clubs virtually own players' rights. And then what was happening now is that clubs, you know, clubs were scared to get players in the last year of their contracts. They were going to go on a free, and that's what Bosman did for football, although football did nothing for him afterwards. But what's happening now is that a lot of players during those years were only accepting 3 or 4 year contracts. They weren't going on long-term contracts. I think what's happening now, there's been an equaliser now where clubs are winning the battle and putting them on long contracts. A lot of that's just to protect themselves, isn't it? You know, it's that aim to try and get the fees, because at the end of the day, it's more and more less power for the players, more for the clubs. But yeah, that's what I think is happening. That's why we did lose those players, because you know at that time you're talking about, was it 15 years ago? You know, like when we first moved to Emirates about 17 years ago, and that was when the Bosman situation was still relatively new.
Yeah, mate, great point. Big up to everybody inside, man. There's over 400 here. Make sure you're smashing the like button up as well. The algorithm on YouTube's recently for football content is dead. So make sure you are smashing the like button, people. Let's talk about Bukayo Saka. Let me start with you, Kenny, yeah, because you obviously watch England. I don't, neither does JEZ'S. I did see Bukayo Saka's goal against Ukraine. What an absolute banger. And he got man of the match as well. And his performances for England are just as good, if not better, than his performances for Arsenal, which are always to a well, not always, but 90% of Bukayo Saka's performances for us are top level. And is there a better winger on the planet right now than him? I mean, he's absolutely flying and smashing goals for fun. And yeah, what did you make of him for England? And what are you thinking about in terms of wingers? Is he the best winger out there right now?
Well, for England, he's fantastic. England, he's made the left, the right-hand position his own. And he's done that really since the World Cup, because, you know, there was always questions, you know, regarding Bukayo Saka. And I think a lot of us quite surprised that he actually was a fixture in Euros. But as soon as he played that game against the Czech Republic in that second game in Euro 2020, since then he's virtually made himself undroppable. And I just look at Bukayo Saka and I think with his Arsenal form, there's levels that guy can go to. But in terms of how he's playing now, yeah, definitely. You know, if you think about wingers, you know, the player that we always had a bit of admiration for on that side was Mahrez. His performances are outstripping Mahrez to strips. He's ruining him. And I think in performance-wise, we don't know what it's like on ability and how far we're going to go. But in terms of effectiveness, Bukayo Saka really is the number one right-sided forward in the country. It's no doubt about it. The numbers and the goals say it all. You know what I mean? He puts quite a few centre forwards to shame with his contributions in the last third. You know what I mean? And I think, you know, he's creating chances as well, in terms of he's putting his crosses in and he's making those little passes as well. You know, he's still got a long way to go, because I like the right foot to be better. You know, because at the moment I still see it as a bit of a swinger, but hopefully he'll get better. Because once, if he gets himself to a situation where we forget he's left-footed, he could be one of the best players we've had for years. You know what I mean? So far, so good.
Spot on. And I think we all forget as well, he's only 21. It seems like he's been in the team forever, doesn't it? I know he's been great for the last 3 seasons, but may end up with Arsenal Player of the Season. He may end up with Premier League Player of the Season or Young Player of the Season. But Jez, what do you think of him, man? I know you don't watch the England performances, but what have you made of him this season? And where do you rank him, man? How good is he, and where could he get to?
I think he's absolute total class, without a doubt. Best right winger in the country, as Kenny said. Fantastic. I did watch a little bit of that England game. I unfortunately didn't see the game live. I saw the replay. Total class. I mean, this young, for 21-year-old kid, he's just going to go on and on and on. And he is. I'm not going to say he's the best in the world, because I don't watch enough international football to give a judgment on that. But he's certainly up there. That is for sure. And I could honestly say, by the time he gets to 24, 25, he's starting to get into his actual mature years, he could be the best in the world. Provided he stays fit, I think is absolute brilliant. I'm a little bit annoyed Southgate kept him on for the whole game, personally. I'd rather he took him off after maybe 65, 70 minutes. But thankfully, he's come away. I hope he's fine. I heard no reports that he might have picked up a knock or anything like that. So, yeah, absolute class. And what's his value going to be in another 3 years? 120 million? Who knows? I can see it, because I think he's absolutely brilliant. And the fact we've got him at Arsenal, well, we've got an absolute gem there. Great player. Love watching him play. I can only think of possibly 2 games this season where he's been at 75%. He hasn't been his total best, but apart from that, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and even the games the game against Crystal Palace, the last Premier League game we had, for the first 25 minutes, I know you was in my chat on the watch along. It was like he just kept giving the ball away, and I'm sitting there ripping my hair out. I ain't got much left, but he was giving the ball away. But then, bang! All of a sudden, we go 1-0 up, but he's one of the best players on the pitch. Yeah. And it's like, even when he's struggling, and this is the thing with young players. Sometimes you are going to get doubled up, you are going to get trebled up on, you are going to get kicked, you are going to get marked out of games, and you have to be smart enough and cute enough to figure out different ways. You can't just go out on the pitch every week and play the same way and hope for the best, and I'm good enough to run rings around everyone. Sometimes you are going to get man marked, sometimes you are going to get pulled out, and you're going to have to go infield or drop deeper. And he's learning that, and he's getting better every season. Right. Last season, I felt the last 7-8 games of the season, he fell off. But again, he's played a lot of football since he's come into that team, not just for England, Arsenal, but for England as well. But this season, he's gone up levels, man. Absolute levels. And we need to sign him up to a contract. All we've been hearing, and it's been nearly a year. Next month, well, by the end of this week, it would have been about a year that offer apparently has been on the table. And all the journalists, all of the reports are coming out saying that he's signed his new deal and it's all done in principle and all of this. That's great. That's fantastic. Sign the paperwork then. Like, what's the hold up? Yeah, we've been hearing this since April last year. He was asked, Arteta, in his press conference for one of the games last year. I think it was, well, it was a league game. Maybe it wasn't a league. I don't know. But anyway, I think it was. Well, we weren't in Europe, so it must have been. But he was asked about Bukayo Saka's deal, and he said, yeah, we're in negotiations. There's an offer on the table. That was in April last year. And I don't know whether that's Bukayo Saka's side and his family and his agent and stuff like that, or whether that's the club holding it. And I don't know. Maybe Saka's sitting there thinking, well, I'm the best player in the team. I'm getting better every year. I want to see how ambitious they are. And we've been down this route a long, long time ago with Van Persie and with other players. And the day he signs that contract, if he signs it, that's a massive day for us, because he is our best player, in my opinion. I don't think he's our most important player. I think Partey is, but he's definitely our best player. And if he's on form, every defense, doesn't matter who they are, is in trouble. I love the way he just rolls players, man. He's so small, low center of gravity, just rolls people for fun. And his left foot's mad. But Kenny, I'll make you right, man. He does need to fix up his right foot a little bit more. And if he does that, then he could genuinely be one of the greatest players we've ever had. But he's got a long, long way to go yet. Let's not jump the gun. Before we wrap this up, people, make sure you smash the like button. There's 450 in here. Sub to JEZ'S channel, Arsenal History and More. That link is in the description, along with Kenny Ken 1972 on Insta. Pinned comment is my second channel, sub to that as well. But very quickly, we'll touch on Leeds United, because obviously we ain't going to speak again on a show until after that. JEZ'S, Leeds, at home. We haven't heard anything about William Saliba's injury, which is baffling, because that happened, 10 days ago?
Yeah.
And we were supposed to find out the next day an update. Well, we still haven't. I think that was all mind games. But with or without Saliba, how do you see us doing against Leeds, mate?
Leeds United, they're in deep crap at the moment. They're going to come and fight like a wounded animal, as they always do. But I think we'll win comfortably. And I'm going to give you a prediction there. I'm going to go 3-0 Arsenal. I just think our midfield is just way too strong for them. The way we've got Partey, Odegaard, Xhaka playing at the moment, I think Arsenal's midfield for them is just going to be way too strong. Saka, I think he'll score. Martinelli's on form. Yeah, our defence, I hope Saliba's there, but if it is main games, brilliant. And he's back in. We don't have what's name there? I've got his bloody name now. Come on.
Yeah.
Our backup defender. What's his bleeding name?
Holding. Kivior.
Rob Holding. Yeah, Holding. Yeah. I mean, he had a great game the other week. Let's be fair. He had a great game. Kiwior came on. He looked good. But do I trust him for 90 minutes against Leeds? Not seen enough of him. Can't make a comment. I know that Saliba is, because I think he's been actually on fire this season. So I'm hoping that Saliba starts, and it's not a serious injury. Like I've heard reports could be out for 6 weeks. I think that's totally unfounded, personally. I've never seen anything in written evidence to say that. But, you know, we've got these journos out there, haven't we? We like to report crap. So hopefully he'll be back. I'm confident we'll beat Leeds United 3-0.
What about you, Kenny? You're obviously going to be at the game. And we're going to obviously have a little bit of pressure on us if Man City win the early kickoff that day. But if they don't,
Liverpool, that's right.
And they don't, and they drop points to Liverpool, there's going to be a party atmosphere before the game even kicks off, and then we've got to hope that the players are even more fired up to take advantage. But either way, it's a must-win, isn't it, mate? Well,
the thing about it, you've got to remember that we're not the team that needs snookers. Man City, the team that needs snookers, and it could, so. I'm not saying that we could go easy, drop points. I'm not saying that, but the thing is, the pressure's always on Man City. For the fact that they have to win every game. They have to win every game. They can't afford to drop any more points. They have to pray and hope that the last drop points against Nottingham Forest was against Nottingham Forest, and there would be no more drop points. They have, which means they've got to keep all the players fit. Obviously, Haaland's. They say he's got a groin injury. He's a doubt for Liverpool. I don't think any of us believe it. But talking about Arsenal, Saliba, I've just checked on the website, and again, all we hear is we hope that it's not a serious injury. So they don't know what the situation is. But as you said before, Rob Holding, run-the-mill Premiership defender, did well against Palace, looked very good in the second half when he came on against Lisbon. He'll do adequately well. He's got the experience. Kivior, would do well, but I think it's a bit of a risk because he's there is a position for him if Arteta wants to play left and right footed, so he'll have to wait until and hope that that if Gabriel don't make it, he gets a chance. But in terms of Leeds, they got injuries as well, because remember there's rumours that that there's injury scared for Gonotto, their exciting Italian international, and also Ty Adams as well, missed United States duty as well. So they're the two key players. But one thing about Leeds is that Rodrigo's come back from injury, scoring goals. Bamford's come back, he's still not the same. But you can never write them off, and they will give themselves a game. But you know what happens with teams when they get in relegation trouble? You score the first goal against teams, confidence drops, and then by the time they know it hits them, we could be 3 and 4-0 up. That's how fragile these teams are now, because it's getting to like the championship rounds where they can't afford any slip-ups. and but the thing is, they're playing the champions, and it's so bad for Leeds that they can't really, like I said, how do I say it? They can't even call away a game a free hit because time's running out for everyone, especially down the bottom two. So they're going to have to get something. How they play, only they will know. But we score first, there's an avalanche, mate.
Mate, I couldn't agree more. Totally agree with you, mate. And I think we need to go and pump them for 4 or 5, boost the goal difference. Man City's game in hands against West Ham, I think. So yeah, go and boost the goal difference, boost our confidence as well, because then we've got a whole week to train and get ready for the Liverpool game. And we can sit back and watch Liverpool against Chelsea in the midweek. And hopefully they have had a good intense game against City before that, but then obviously have to run around against Chelsea and be absolutely worn out for us at the weekend.
Yeah, right.
You know the thing about Man City situation, he just doesn't sit right. Wanting teams I don't like to beat Man City or Liverpool, for instance. I'm not a Chelsea.
Short-term pain for long-term gain, Kenny.
Like when Spurs play Man City, I still wanted Man City to thrash them because it's Tottenham. I want Man City to thrash Chelsea because it's Chelsea, because of the reasons that I always believe, you're in dangerous territory if you rely on other teams to do your work, which means you haven't been doing your jobs yourself. Wherever. If we keep winning,
you know what? That's very true, right? And Saeed said something because I need to wrap this up because I'm late for Dan's channel. The link I'm putting in the chat is Dan Potts' channel, by the way. I'm live on there 3 minutes ago. But Saeed said this earlier. He said all of this looking at the next 5 games and all of this, like before social media, nobody was looking at every other team's games. It was just we had to win our games. Like when we were fighting against United for titles and that, before social media come along, we didn't really care. As long as we went to Old Trafford and beat them, we knew we were going to win the league. Yeah, the same as if they come to Highbury and beat us, pretty much they win the league. And you're not really looking and sizing it all up. And I know it's more exciting if you're doing all of that, and it's great, and you can make content out of it and all of that. It's fantastic. But you're right, Kenny. The fact is, we just win our games. We win the title. That's it. Yeah, that's it. But anyway, we are going to wrap this up, people. Go on, mate. Go on.
No, all I'm saying is that, I suppose we want to win it a bit earlier. We want to stretch. We probably want to play champagne football in the last couple of home games. But you know what? City ain't no mugs. I expect them to beat Liverpool, and I expect them to try and win every game going. And they're going to be formidable when they play us. You know what I mean? If they get that snooker at Anfield, we're in for a humdinger of a match when we play them.
Absolute facts, and that's the thing. If they win their game in hand, they're 5 behind. If they beat us at the Etihad, they're 2 behind, and then it is squeaky bum time, isn't it? So
Anfield as well. If we don't win at Anfield,
if we lose there, all of a sudden they could go above us if they beat us at the Etihad. Yeah, so there's a lot of permutations and things to twist and turns. But listen, the show's always been lit. Big up to everybody. Big up to JEZ'S. What you got coming up, mate?
Podcast 6 o'clock Wednesday night, weekly podcast, and then I must do some history stuff. People keep asking me to do some history stuff, and I haven't for ages. I don't think I've done any this new year, actually. No, I have. I did goalkeepers. So, I'm going to start doing a little bit of that. Podcast. And then, thank crikey, Arsenal are back at the weekend to stop the boredom. And I look forward to a nice, conclusive 3-0 at least, Leeds United.
Arsenal history and more. The link is in the description, people. Kenny, what you got coming up, mate?
I've got JEZ'S on Wednesday. Obviously, I'm going to probably do a bit of boxing with Lady Chan today. I do that every most Monday nights, and I'm just going to be. I don't know, man. I'll be watching me diet. Probably go for another run, wait for another day, and I'm just going to be going through every sports news and updating my stories as best I can. Because at the end of the day, I get a lot of feedback from members of the public. They seem to enjoy it, and I enjoy commenting back to them. So, that gives me a lot of encouragement. I think I found my strength. My strength is probably like the odd video on Instagram and commenting on sports stories, because I know people are interested in boxing and people are interested in cricket, because I know I've got a lot of cricket fans who in the Indian subcontinent, they love talking about, the state of, the England cricket team, Indian cricket team, Australian cricket team, and also, but they football's brilliant, and like your shows, and my Instagram, not everyone who follows me is an Arsenal fan. They just want to talk football and talk sport, and I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, Kenny Ken 1972 on Insta, link in description as well. Pinned comment is my second channel. Go and check that out. There's a video about Antonio Conte on there. We're less than 50 subs from 9K on that channel. The views are flying, to be fair, on that channel. So thank you to everyone who is over there watching that. And I am live with Dan Potts 7 minutes ago. So I'm going to spam the link. Go and spam his chat where Lee sent me. And
one more thing. So, before we go, Thunder Road, I know you're watching because you watch JEZ'S channel and you watch this. You little troll. I'm on to you, mate. You've been following me for 7 years. You've kept your gob shut. Don't worry, mate. You're one pork chop that is not going in the freezer. You're on the barbie. You'll stay in the freezer where you belong. And I hope you freeze there, Thunder Road.
Yeah, Dan Potts' channel link is in the chat. Go and spam it, Lee Gunner sent me. I'll be there in literally 90 seconds, people. Big up to everyone, man. By the way, tomorrow I'm back in the daytime, 2 p.m. 1 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Spanish time. I always get these times mixed up. 1 p.m. UK time tomorrow. I'm also on with Rants tomorrow. Terry Flewers as well. So make sure you come and check all of that out. But now we're out of here. Laters. Adios. Ciao. Southgate out.